Rugby Africa President Herbert Mensah and World Rugby Africa Partnerships Manager Coralie Berg, who were on a 3-day working visit in Uganda, held a meeting with the Uganda rugby stakeholders, including government officials, corporate partners, and the Uganda Olympic Committee, about Uganda's readiness to host the 2025 Rugby Africa Cup Finals in July. The two, who have been in the country since yesterday, also discussed with Ugandan officials about exploring rugby development initiatives, including support towards Uganda Sevens, grassroots development expansion, and opportunities for further collaboration with Rugby Africa and World Rugby. This will be the second consecutive year Uganda hosts the Rugby Africa Cup, after hosting the tournament at the Mandela National Stadium in Nambole last year. Mensah, who toured the facility, believes the Mandela National Stadium is in a better position to host the tournament compared to last year.
It is not whether it is you are the best in the world, it's whether it is that you have the right structures in place and you have the right people with the right vision to make it work. And here in Uganda, Uganda Rugby, led by Godwin, has shown that that is the way. They've learned how to win off the field, and that's why they're starting to win on the field.
He also commended the growth of the sport in the country through grassroots rugby, especially in schools, something Africa and World Rugby is looking forward to supporting.
Southern Africa and Eastern Africa have got an extraordinary group and talent birth of young athletes. It starts from a school system, and therefore it's aligned to a growth process that we want. We're in the Rugby Africa and World Rugby, and it goes right the way through. So we're talking about a union who certainly is growing in line with the way that we want it to be.
Coralie Berg of World Rugby, however, says the missing link that is hindering growth of the sport, especially in Africa, is the lack of academies.
The missing link perhaps after school, between school and club rugby or school and high performance setup, is those academies that you mentioned. So we want to concentrate on that. We have now signed with Rugby Africa, the French Federation of Rugby and the South African Rugby Union a partnership agreement with the French Development Agency's support. And it's exactly the point: building capacity, strengthening structures in Africa.
State Minister for Sport Peter Ogwang says hosting of the Africa Cup will open roads to having tournaments like the World Challenger Series in Uganda due to the increasing number of infrastructure in the country.
Now we are beginning to reap the fruits from the investment we have had in infrastructure. That's why you see we are going to host about 8 countries here from early July. Then after that we shall also have a World Cup qualifier within July. So we are now looking at how we can tap into having big tournaments within the rugby. Let's talk about the Challenger Series, HSBC. That's now the next discussion which we are going to enter into.
The winner of the Africa Cup will book a slot at the 2027 Rugby World Cup. The participating teams include hosts Uganda, Zimbabwe, Algeria, Namibia, Kenya, Ivory Coast, and Morocco. Noah Walakira, NTV Sport.